Okay, this is Orlando Wilson, and in this video I want to answer a question somebody asked me. And it's something I mentioned in quite a few of the other videos of why you would say no to clients, why you would refuse clients. Everybody knows the close protection business is a difficult business. Clients can be scarce to find. So if somebody's coming to you wanting services, why are you going to turn them down? Well, there's a multitude of reasons. Now, I'll give you a couple of stories here. But this is where with clients, and I've had it over the years, you get the phone call, you get the email, we need services, we need an armed security guy for this, for that, whatever. The thing is, the first thing I ask the clients or anybody inquiring is, one, why do they need the service? And who are they? If I can't identify who the client is, I'm not going to deal with the client. Why? Because I don't want to end up working for criminals, getting involved in anything illegal. And the main people that need protection services are criminals or people that's up to no good. So this is where you need to work out why the person or people actually need protection to start with before you start providing them services. I know a lot of people, if they get the call for a protection job, they'll bite the hand off the person offering it to them just to get the job. Well, these days you have to be always, you have to be very, very wary of who you're dealing with and what you're getting involved in. Okay, let me give you a couple of stories. Both of these stories are South Florida stories because a lot of weird and wonderful stuff happens in South Florida. I remember years ago, I was approached by a guy. I think I got an email from somebody asking for security, etc., whatever. It came from, the email was sent from a .com, a corporate email. I checked the guy out. I checked out his webpage, checked out the .com, etc. And again, the guy was professional. It all added up. They ran a real estate business. Him and his wife ran a successful real estate business in South Florida. Nothing listed on their site, was under $1 million. And they were good people by the looks of it. Upstanding members of the community. I met this guy, and I met him on Hollywood Boulevard in South Florida. And when I saw the guy, I was like, okay, is this the right guy? Because to me, he looked homeless, looked like a junkie, and he also smelled like a junkie. And it just turned out the night before, day before, he just got out of jail. Even though him and his wife had a very successful real estate practice, he got too involved in the wrong side of the South Florida lifestyle, shall we put it that way. And again, he was, how can we put it, worse for wear in a junkie way. Anyway, he was asking me for firearms training, protection for him, protection for his wife, etc. A lot of paranoia, which usually comes with junkies. I broke protocol here a little bit, but it needed to be done because, again, when I finished talking to him and he sent me follow-up emails, whatever, I called his wife and explained the situation to his wife, who was like, no, he doesn't need guns, he's very sick, he needs help, etc., which I understand 250%. I stayed in touch with her and kept her updated of my communications with the guy because, again, he needed help. He didn't need security, he didn't need firearms training, he needed rehab. So I could have milked him if I went in and realized that, well, I realized he had money and he had access to money. I could have latched on to him like a lot of the other people obviously latched onto him in South Florida and turned him to what he was. Anyway, I said no to him, but I liaised with the wife. Stayed in touch. That's it. Thank you very much. Whenever he was sending me emails, he's going to gun shops or text messages, doing this, he's doing that. It was always, don't worry, I'll train you next week, mañana, right? And again, in the end, I think he got the help he needed. And the last I heard of him, how many years ago, long time ago, he was sending me pictures. He was on a ranch in, I don't know, Wyoming or something. I think he finally sorted his stuff out and he was now dedicating his life to riding horses. So best of luck to him. So that's a case of, yes, I said no to the job, but I could have made money from that guy. But to me, it would have been just exploiting the guy. And also from a legal perspective, because he had legal issues, I wouldn't want to be around him and firearms because, again, I didn't do a full background check on him. I didn't have to. I didn't want to. I didn't need to, because I realized what was going on. But if he had any felonies, he couldn't be around firearms. If I was giving him firearms, etc., I myself would have been in a lot of trouble. One example. Another example. South Florida. A private investigator associate of mine called me up one day saying, would I come with him because he needed to collect money from somebody? Somebody scammed him. He'd done a surveillance job for somebody in Fort Lauderdale, watching this guy's boy toy. And this guy paid by a check, and when my associate went to cash the check bounced. So he phoned up the guy that bounced the check saying, I want cash. And he was like, yeah, sure. Now, the guy that bounced the check, again, everybody done backgrounds. He had money, he had this, he had that. He was living the lifestyle. He was living in a brand new condo, driving a flash car, etc. But in reality, he was broke. When we went to see him, my associate and I, he was there with a couple of his friends. And again, one of them, I think, went to the gym too much, but he was, how can I put it? Wasn't particularly intimidating because he was too pretty to be intimidating. And pretty people don't usually want to mess up their looks by getting involved in confrontations. They paid cash, and they said to my associate, he had another job. He had a lot of money. But the money was in a bank account in the Caribbean. Okay, well, go to the Caribbean and get it. He couldn't, because his boy toy, the guy who my associate was doing the surveillance on the day before, was the one that signed on all the bank accounts. And this guy, the guy that bounced the check, had all the bank books, had all the banking information, had all the account details, etc. This is going back a little bit before banking was mainstream online. So this guy had all the bank details, had all the bank books, had all the account numbers, but his boy toy, who he'd now split up with, was the signer on the account, and he was the only one that could go to the bank and get the money out. This guy didn't want to cut a deal with his boy toy because his boy toy didn't realize how much money was actually in the account, and we're talking 7 figures. We've seen the check, we've seen the bank books, etc. We've seen the documentation, if it was real. And he asked us, could we possibly do a deal in that country to get the money released from the bank? I had good associates in that on that Caribbean island at the time, where strange things can happen. But you know what? He offered us a very good percentage. The trouble was, we're just dealing with somebody who, 1, had bounced a check on my associate, 2, was trying to scam his former boyfriend, and 3, was asking us to commit a crime or help him by committing a crime by fraudulently getting money out of a bank in the Caribbean. So, you know what? We could have made some money out of that, but we could also got ourselves into a lot of trouble. Again, I always tell people, everything you do, especially in a close protection business or investigations business, you get people making you weird and wonderful offers. I generally say no, because if you break the law, you can end up in a lot of trouble. You ruin your whole career for quick money. And again, with this guy, he'd already screwed over my associate. He was screwing over his former boy toy. And if people will screw over one person, they'll screw over other people. So we said, thank you very much and goodbye. Don't contact us again. So there's 2 stories, and I got plenty more stories on why you should say no to some clients for better and for worse. So a couple of little stories. Follow me along on social media. There's more stories up. There's more videos up on executive protection, close protection, kidnap and ransom investigations, etc., etc. Also, I have an array of books on Amazon that talk about various aspects of the security business, close protection, investigations, etc., etc., and also crime fiction. So I hope this video gives you a few things to think about. And even though people might dangle some dollars in front of your face, sometimes it might be better to say no and save yourself a lot of problems in the future.